hope your day's going fantastic. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we are going to create some projects. We're using the Simon Says Stamp card kit for January 2024. I can't believe I'm saying that, but I have it underneath my packaging. I took everything out of the box and out of the bag, and I thought we'd go over the contents really quickly, and then we'll create some cards using it. Kits have already begun shipping. They began shipping on December 18th, so hopefully yours is on your way, and this will give you a little bit of inspiration. So let's take a look at everything that's included in the kit. It's called Don't Flurry, Be Happy. That's the name of our stamp set. 6x8 stamp set. I love the kind of spear that this has, and then it has a real large background. You could probably create a background by doubling it for so many different card sizes. And then there's some beautiful sentiments that go with snowflake themes. And that's our stamp set this month. We get some cardstock. We get some matte silver from Simon Says Stamp. We get some Nina, 110 pound. So this makes great card bases. We get some cornflower cardstock, and then we also get this beautiful lavender. And these are all 8.5 by 11 sheets. Those are our cardstock sheets this month. We get some pattern papers. These are from Paper Rose Studio. I love these prints. They're double-sided. You get 6 sheets. Look how pretty the back side is. These are great for thank you cards. Quick and easy thank you cards for after the holidays. But isn't that just stunning? Wood grain and beautiful scenery. And then on the reverse side you get some prints. 6 sheets of those. You get an embossing folder, which is gorgeous. This has some beautiful snowflakes on it. It's called Cheery Snowflakes. That's included. Also included are some splash drops. These are really nice. You know why? Because you get 2 different sizes, but there's 3 different styles in here. You get a real pretty iridescent, you get a clear, and then you get a frosty, which makes great snowballs for your background. So you get some splash drops in the kit this month. You get a die set. This is a 3-piece die set. I went ahead and die cut them out to show you. They're very delicate and beautiful snowflakes. So you get some dies this month. Also included, I'm going to put these off to the side here. Also included is some holographic envelope, well, one holographic envelope. This is a lick and stick A2 envelope. Has a groovy pattern on there, really pretty. And then you also get a A2 panel of the Simon Says Stamp holographic cardstock. That's just really pretty. Great for snowflakes. And this coordinates beautifully together too. There is a few more items. There's a full-size ink pad of the clear watermark and embossing ink. I already opened mine up. So this goes great with what we have. Last but not least, this is the Distress Embossing Glaze. I've used this before. I'll leave a link of a video because we've got one of these in the kits prior, and I'll leave that video at the end to show you what this does. It leaves a tint over your stamped images, which is really pretty. I happen to have Seedless Preserves, which is a darker color ink, but your colors may vary. You may get this one, you may get a different color of the embossing glaze, but let me show you what it looks like. This is Seedless Preserves once more. So it goes really good with our cardstock and our pattern paper because we got some purples in there. You can see here. So it will go really well together. Okay, and that is everything minus our sweet treat. We get some bubble gum. It's actually my favorite. And we're going to put everything off to the side, and we're going to get started on our first card using this fun kit. For my first card, we're going to create a window or a frame. I'm going to use my rectangle dies here, and I think we're going to go with this size. Using it an A2 panel of white cardstock, which is 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. I'll cut this out. This is double stitched, so it's going to leave me stitching on the outside edge. So we tape down this one. Now we are going to die cut out some snowflakes using lavender cardstock, but I'm going to add a little bit of color to them. I want my snowflakes to have a gradient. So I'm going to use my Copic markers and our lavender cardstock, kind of using this as a guide. I'm going to mark the edges here. And I'll do the same. And then I'll do the same here. Okay. So I kind of have the gist of where the center is. I'll start with my lightest purple marker. I'm using BV02. And I'm going to just kind of do a little swirl. This is going to be really rough. Like so. Maybe a little bit more here. It looks really dark, but since these are Copic markers, the alcohol on the paper is going to pull back a lot. I'm going to use my darkest color, which is BV08, from the center. And we will add just a little circle here. Okay, and then I'll use my mid-tone, which is BV04, and we'll blend these together. And I'll go back with my lightest, and we're just going to blend all three together. I think I'm going to bring in my colorless blender and fade out the edges here. So this is my... And I'm just going to do a little fading here. Okay. I think that's going to work great. Now I'm going to take my snowflakes. We're going to die cut these out. Just using those pencil marks as my guide. I'll tape these down and then we will run these through the die cut machine. And it should have a dark center kind of fading out. So we have our snowflakes here. We have our frame. I also went through my border dies, my snowbank border dies, and created a snowbank with this. You could freehand it. I just wanted a little something behind my window here. In fact, we're going to go ahead and take our snowbank and put it behind our frame that we created. I'm just going to use my tape runner for this. I think that looks good. I'm going to cut away the excess that's overhanging. Okay, and I thought for the background for my window, we'd use some of the scene here, which is just stunning. And I think I'm going to use this one here. So I'm going to take my scissors, go under my frame, and just create a background panel. I'm going to probably use some of this for my next card too. Okay, I'm going to keep this here. I'm going to add some adhesive, and then we're going to tack this down to the front of our card base. That's not our card base. Okay, I will, since this is a card front panel we created the frame with, I'm just going to line it up. We will tack this down so I know my scene is exactly where I want it to go. Okay, now, actually, you know what? I'm going to remove my snowbank. I want to go ahead and remove my snowbank. Okay, I want to do a little bit of ink blending on here. And so for this, we're going to use some purple inks. I'm going to be using my Pinkfresh Studio ink. I have Opulence, and I have Hydrangea. I'm going to first take Hydrangea, pick up some ink here, and we're going to do a little fade on the bottom. Kind of fading up. And then I'll take my darker purple ink, which is Opulence. I'm going to next take that darker ink, and I'm going to darken those edges. And then, just to add a little bit of regalness to this card, I'm going to bring in my Intense Black ink from Simon and my black blending brush, and I'm going to go over the very bottom and edges with my black ink. I think this is just going to make it pop. Sometimes black just makes it stand out so nice. Okay. I think I'm going to go on the inside too. Okay. So a little bit of ink blending on the edge of the frame. I'm going to watch when we put it together. Well, let me clean this off. So we have a nice gradient. It's going to look beautiful on the background of our card. I'm going to go ahead and replace my snowbank that we just removed. And I'm going to go ahead and let's see if we can put our sentiment here. From our stamp set, I'm going to use just the word, well, do we want thanks? I'm just going to use the word thanks. I think it'll work perfectly on that snowbank. So I'm going to bring in my stamping positioner. Let's go ahead and stamp this. Wonderful. Let's go ahead and take our frame. I'm going to flip this around and I'm going to add some foam tape behind here. I'm going to remove the release paper and then we're going to place this in the center. We'll add this to our card base. Now before we adhere our snowflakes, I think I'm going to add some splatter. On our picture in the background, there's a little bit of splatter that looks like snow's falling. And to do that, I'm going to bring in some of my Picket Fence Distress ink. I'm just going to use an acrylic block. And I'll add some ink here. And then using a paintbrush, I'm going to pick up some of this ink and we're going to do a little extra splattering. Wonderful. Okay, I'm going to set this aside to dry. The Picket Fence ink is distressing, so it does take a little bit of time to dry. So I'm going to put off my snowflakes and we'll come back to that in just a minute. In the meantime, we're going to work on our next card. Let me clean off my surface. For my next card, I'm going to bring in a piece of our lavender cardstock. We're going to put this in the stamping positioner. I need to actually add some adhesive because I'm afraid this is going to lift up. We're going to add our cardstock here. I wonder if we can double this up. So I'm going to add it here. And then we're going to pick it up with the lid of our stamping positioner. And then I'm going to be using my Opulence ink and going for a tone on tone here. We'll go ahead and stamp this. Oh, that looks really pretty. Okay, and then I'm going to clean off my stamp and then I'm going to lower it. Okay, and then let's see if we can flip it around. And I think we can. Okay, I think the stamp is made to where you can create a continuous pattern with it, which is really nice. So let's flip it around, add some more ink. And you'll see it just fits perfectly to create a background. So you could do any size cards. Look at it, fills it in gorgeous. How pretty is that? Inks that we used previously, I'll use my hydrangea. And we're going to add some color to the edges. Okay, and then I'll bring back that Opulence. add a little bit darker shading. And then we're going to go with our black, our intense black ink, and we're going to add a little bit more, kind of fading up. So I love the glow that this offers. Now what we're going to do is take a white gel pen, and I'm going to add some white detail around the edges here. Since we did use ink, the white gel pen, some of it might absorb the color, but I think we can, I think this would really help make it stand out. We're just going to go over some of the snowflake circles that we can with the white gel pen. We're just lightening up, just adding a few little highlights. Let me show you close up. Kind of really makes it stand out. Now I created a frame using my rectangle dies here, and then I think what we're going to do is use this leftover piece, and I'm going to add a purpley background to it. So let's go ahead and add some adhesive. And I'm going more for this upper area here. Actually, if I could get, oh, that's pretty. Okay, I'm going to actually turn it sideways, and we're going to tack this down behind our window. We'll just trim away. You could actually use this for a tag, would be really pretty. Maybe we'll do that on our next card. So this background covers this. I'm going to flip this around, and we're going to put foam tape behind here. I removed the release paper off of that, but before we do that, I'm going to flip this panel around, and we're going to add some adhesive behind here, and we're going to place this on the front of our card. Wonderful. And then we'll take our frame. This is going to go in the center. And I die cut out our largest snowflake. I'm going to place this. We'll just use the tape runner for that. And I'm going to place this towards the upper portion of our frame. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and use my paper trimmer, and we'll trim this down. After I trim this down, I went ahead and put foam tape behind here. What we're going to do is tack this in the bottom of our frame. And then I'm going to bring in my gems here. And I really like the iridescent. So we're going to pick up a couple of these here. I'm going to add these to the snowflake. Wonderful. And then that will finish that card. Now I'm coming back to the frame that we created. I believe my splatters are good to go. I'm going to use my tape runner, add some adhesive behind the snowflakes here. Wonderful. Just a little bit of sparkle, I think, goes a long way. I'm going to scoot this over just a little bit. Okay, we're going to move along to our next card. For my next card, we're going to take some of our lavender cardstock, and I want to be using my embossing folder. Let's go ahead and emboss a background panel. So we have a beautiful snowflake embossed background. I'm going to bring back those same inks that we've been using, and we're going to add a little bit of color to the very bottom and kind of fade up. Let's see. So doesn't that look so pretty? It really does go with the picture. Okay, let's go ahead and adhere this to the front of an A2 size card base. This time I'm going to put the darker ink blend on top, fading down. So pretty. Okay, I have a rectangle I created with my stitched rectangle dies, and what we're going to do is frame this piece. I think it'll fit perfectly in there, but I need to straighten it out. So I'll bring in my paper trimmer. We're going to add a little extra shimmer. So let's add some adhesive behind here. And we will mat. Let's go sideways so we can stretch this. Just so some of that shine is peeking out. And we'll take our paper trimmer. And we will go ahead and trim away the excess here. And I'm going to pop this up with some foam tape, and we're going to place it on here. So we have some baker's twine here. We'll straighten it up a little bit. Okay, and then I do want to stamp my sentiment directly on here. So I'm going to use my Versamark ink because I know it's going to stand out, and I got to bring back my stamping positioner. I'm going to use my VersaFine for this. I'm hoping I can do it in one shot, because I have that foam tape on here and I'm afraid it might pick up. So let's stamp this directly on our pattern paper. Ooh, wonderful. I'm liking the way that looks. Okay, that worked out great. I do suggest doing this before you put foam tape behind it. Okay, let's go ahead and take our panel. I already put foam tape behind it. So our grading's directly on our background. We're going to remove the release paper here, and we're going to tack this down in the center. And I think I'm gonna scoot up my baker's twine a little bit. Wonderful. And then that will finish that card. So here's a look at the 3 cards that we made today with the Simon Says stamp. January 2024 card kit. Some different ideas using the kit. I hope this gives you a little bit of inspiration. Again, this is the Don't Flurry, Be Happy card kit. Have a wonderful day. Thanks for joining me, and we will see you again real soon. Bye-bye.